Okay, guys, just so you can get your brains kind of wrapped around all of this, this is the last recording. Those problems about the waves and creating your own sinusoids, those take a long time. So it's not the majority of the test. This, what we're doing, is basically the majority. So try your best. Those are challenging problems, no doubt about it. But I'm not out to get you. Just trust me in that. But number 8, here we go. Verify. That means this is already true and you can trust it. But you need to simplify this, and if you've done it right, you'll end up getting 1. So 1 plus cotangent squared, I've got my little formula sheet here. 1 plus cotangent squared is cosecant squared. So we're going to take that out and we're going to replace it with what it equals. And here we go, sine squared theta times cosecant squared theta. Well, these are reciprocals, so you could stop right now. Anything times its reciprocal is 1. But if you wanted to take it one step further, which maybe you should, cosecant is 1 over sine squared. And then we could cross reduce and we'd get 1 equals 1, and we just verified it. So let's go on to letter B. So we're going to mess with this. So what do we need? We need common denominators. So those common denominators are going to be, if this is a 2 and that's a 3, it'd be 6. So I got to multiply that by sine, but then I got to multiply the top by sine. I got to multiply this one by cosine, and I got to multiply that one by cosine. So I get cosine squared theta all over sine theta cosine theta plus sine times sine is sine squared theta all over the same denominator, which we're now, whoopsie, that's just cosine theta. We're now allowed to add the numerators. Well, what's sine squared plus cosine squared? That's 1. So that's 1 over sine theta cosine theta, which is the same thing as this, just rearranged a bit. Letter C. This has to be true. So let's check this out. This one might be a little more challenging. So we're going to change this and maybe change this, but what I'm going to do first is realize that if I don't mess with the numerator and I just change this, secant is 1 over cosine, and I change that into what it is, and now I can flip this and multiply. So that means I flip this and multiply, so it's cosine x. And so now this, I'm going to do times this, and remember what secant is. Secant is 1 over cosine of x minus cosine of x times cosine of x. Distribute, distribute. Well, this times this, they cross reduce. So I get 1, this times this, minus cosine squared x. And we can see that 1 minus cosine squared x does indeed equal sine squared x. So this equals this. We verified it. Okay. This one, difference of 2 squares. So you can just fool. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. Negative times a positive is negative. Cosine times cosine is cosine squared x. And this is supposed to be equal to this, which they're just throwing a little curveball at you. So what is 1 minus cosine squared equal to? If we go to our formula, 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So we go sine squared x equals 1 over cosecant squared x, which you could stop here, but if they're saying this, if this is our goal, then we should flip this, which kind of breaks our rule. Whoopsie, cosecant, sorry guys, equals this. So it does check that box. We verified it. We're almost done. So it says use the angle sum or difference identities to find the exact value. Well, this is where we take 165 and we got to make a combination of 30, 45, or 60s. But we can only pick 2 of these. Well, I'm going to subtract 45 from this in my head and go 45 plus 120. This is my u, that's my v. And so now I have, I'll show you guys. I have this formula right here, cosine of u plus v, right here. So this is my u, that's my v. So this is what I want. I'm going to jump right to this. So that's cosine of u, which is 45, cosine of v, which is 120, minus sine of u, sine of v. Now I've used that formula, now it's spinner time. We'll draw a little 45-degree angle over here, 1 square root of 2. Cosine of 45 is adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm going to leave that empty. Figure out sine of 45, it's the same thing, opposite over hypotenuse. Now I need to draw a little 120, 90 plus 30, leaving me with 60 there. So now this is negative 1, this is square root of 3, this is 2. So cosine of 120 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Sine of 120 is opposite over hypotenuse. And now we're going to multiply. So 1 over 2 square root of 2 minus the square root of 3 over 2 square root of 2. We got common denominator, so it's 1 minus the square root of 3 all over 2 square root of 2. Now I'm going to get rid of that square root of 2 down there. It's a lot of math. And I get the square root of 2 minus the square root of 6. The roots fly off, so that's 2. 2 times 2 is 4. That's your answer. Okay, let's jump down to letter B, sine of 7 pi over 12. Well, if we want to figure out what this is as a degree measure, which I encourage, 7 times 180, because that's what pi is, divided by 12, 105. So it's the same thing as sine of 105. Well, again, I see that 5. I'm going to break it up into 45 plus whatever's left, which is 60. So here's my u, here's my v. And I find my sine of u plus v, which is right here. I'm going to follow this. So it's sine of u cosine of v plus cosine of u sine of v. Now that I have things plugged in properly, I've got my 45-degree angle already drawn here, my triangle. So I know that's opposite over hypotenuse. I don't have a 60-degree triangle yet, so I'll draw that right here. That's my square root of 3, that's my 1, that's my 2, if that's a 60. So what would cosine be? Adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine of 45 is the same as sine of 45, it just is. Sine of 60, wait a minute, let me make sure I didn't screw that up. I did. Cosine of 60 is right here. I went up here because I saw that 60. Cosine of 60 would be here. So it'd be adjacent over hypotenuse, which is a positive. That was a quick catch. Marker down moment. Sine of 60, opposite, whoopsie, did it again. Opposite over hypotenuse. That's square root of 3 over 2. So we get 1 over 2 square root of 2. We get square root of 3 over 2 square root of 2. It's looking a lot like this. So I'm going to put over here 1 plus the square root of 3 all over 2 square root of 2. We've got to get that square root of 2 out of the bottom. So we've got to multiply bottom and top by the square root of 2. Distribute, distribute. Square root of 2 plus the square root of 6 all over 4. There it is. Cosine of pi over 12, that's the same thing as 180 divided by 12. And somehow, for some reason, that's not popping into my head. 15. All right. So that's cosine of 15 degrees. Well, I'm going to write that as cosine of 60 minus 45. So it kind of forces me, because I don't normally go with minuses, but whatever. So this is cosine of u minus v. So we find our formula, and it's right here at the top. So I'm just going to fill things in. Cosine of u which is 60, cosine of v, which is 45, plus sine of u, which is 60, sine of v, which is 45. Again, plug things in. I got my drawings over here. I'm not going to screw this up. Cosine of 60 from this drawing is 1/2. Cosine of 45, we've been using this, is 1 over 2 squared, 1 over the square root of 2. Shouldn't be using a pen. Plus sine of 60, opposite over hypotenuse. And then sine of 45, opposite over hypotenuse. Crunch those out. So we get 1 over 2 square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2 square root of 2. We got common denominators. All over 2 square root of 2. Well, this is looking a lot like this, so we're just going to steal this answer. So square root of 2 plus square root of 6 all over 4. Save you some time there. Whoa! Alright, well first of all I see that 3 goes into this and this. So I'm going to divide that by 3 and make that a 7. Divide that by 3 and make it a 6. Pi over 6 is 30. 7 times 30 is 210. And let's see here. That might have been, is that a typo? 3 goes into that 7, 6, pi over 6, 30, 210. Alright, so they're telling us to use the sum or difference to get 210. So what I would do to get 210 is, I think I'm just going to go 180 plus 30. Now, I'm bending the rules a little bit with this guy, and I think that's the interesting thing. You could go 240 minus 30 if you wanted to go down the subtraction lane, which might be easier, and use the difference formula for that. But I'm going to choose to go this route. Here's my u, here's my v. It's good practice anyways. So I got sine of u plus v, which is right here, the circled one. So this is going to be sine of u, 180, cosine of 30, plus cosine of 180, sine of 30. Barely squeeze that in. Well, with our 180 situation, that's where we spin our spinner almost to 180 and take a little gander. That means opposite is 0, my adjacent is -1, my hypotenuse is 1. So, what's sine of 180? Well, it's opposite over hypotenuse, so that's 0. I don't care what this is, because 0 times anything is 0. What's cosine of 180? Adjacent over hypotenuse, so -1, times sine of 30, which we've got, I don't think we have a 30-degree angle drawn yet, but if we spun our spinner up 30, that'd be a 1, that'd be 2 square root of 3. Sine would be opposite over hypotenuse. So our final answer would be just -1/2 from this. We are almost done. Guys, they save the easiest for last. Bless their hearts. So it says use the double angle identity just to rewrite them. And if you just look at this stuff as easy it is. This is Farhad Galham Reza Bahabarabadi stuff. So we're looking for a match. 2 sine cosine. 2 sine cosine. So it's saying go that way. So this turns into sine of the double angle. So we take the angle, double it, and that's how easy it needs to be. This is just 1 minus 2 sine squared some angle. Don't get too wrapped up with this. Well, here it is, 1 minus 2 sine squared some angle. To go from here to here, it needs to turn into cosine, and you need to double the angle. So we double that, 6x. That's it. We're almost done. Cosine squared of some angle minus sine squared of some angle. Well, it's right here. Slightly scribbled out, but it equals cosine double the angle. So cosine, and then we're going to multiply that angle by 2. So we get 4 pi all over 3. Don't go any farther. 2 cosine squared sum angle minus 1. 2 cosine squared sum angle minus 1. We have to double the angle and make it cosine. So that's cosine double the angle. So we got to go 2 times 5 pi over 6. I like to cross reduce, keep it real in the 616. 5 pi over 3. I think that finishes your review. Let me pause it and check. So yeah, that finishes the review. Apologize for it being so late. We'll have a good discussion tomorrow, see if it's fair or unfair that if I give you the test tomorrow. All things will work out. Relax, breathe, do your best. We'll talk. But I will be giving you this formula sheet. It's very helpful.